home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle.
No slave master, nobody who has oppressed you have the sincere intentions on liberating your mind. You know, only a fool will believe that. You know what I'm saying? In their education, it's indoctrination. They're not teaching you anything that's going to make you independent of them. They're going to tell you how true economics work, how to go out here and get this money and practice group economics and keep that money in the black community. I'm a Pan-Africanist, meaning that I support blacks all over the globe and see us as one unified force, and that's African people. I don't believe that's a Jamaican, a Haitian, an African American. I know that they all was taken from Africa, was taken from Europe, you know, because we came to Europe as conquerors, you know what I'm saying, with General Tariq, with the Moors, because we civilized them. So we take it from there and brought over here to Hispaniola, was not called Haiti. And from Haiti we was brought over here. So don't you see that we all one people? Haiti, Jamaican, all of us one people. But we don't provide, we don't have compassion toward the people when we see the atrocities that happen over there in their land, because we don't see ourselves as the people. A lot of times, when our people come and try to give us the knowledge of who we are, we reject them. Especially if they feel like we didn't go into the halls of indoctrination that we call the halls of education, edited dictation. That's all it is, dictated by what's edited in their textbooks. 9 times out of 10, you're not seeing objective. 9 times out of 10, you know, it's a curriculum that was established to set rules and regulations, you know, and censorship. Because if they told you who you are, you'll be great. You'll be producing things, you'll be manufacturing things. We'll be one people. We'll still be living under the African principles. You know, because we was the closest people to nature. We lived in the laws and the guidelines of nature. But nowadays, the white man comes and he want to manipulate nature. He sees himself different from nature. He's not knowing that we are interdependent. If you kill the trees, you kill yourself. We give off carbon dioxide, the trees give off oxygen. We need oxygen to live. The tree needs carbon dioxide to live. You know, we got all these different races, but they ain't nothing but the human race, because all races stem from us. All races stem from us. Further as you go back, you know, I think the furthest you might go back to them is probably 6,000 years where you might find a white person. But we don't have no historical chronology of our origin. We don't have that. Because every time they kick over a rock in Africa, they got to rewrite history. And then you got to think about all the propaganda that's been perpetuated on these television, televised visuals, screens that they put on every day. Another black man kill another black man. You see? So if you see that repetitively on TV all the time, you're going to start locking your doors from your own brothers. You know what I'm saying? They create a world for us. They create propaganda and they try to give us solutions to that propaganda by offering us some psycho drugs and try to help us like ADHD and so forth. Genetic annihilation is they fear 50 years from now, what would be the outcome of the white race? You know how they talk about the end of the world, and yeah, it might be the end of the world for them.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you why. If you know anything about genetics, you'll know that we have dominant genes. They have recessive genes. And through the process of amalgamation, that's the mixing of genes, you can annihilate a whole race. You follow me now? That's why these laws are good, and that's why they're so hard on you sticking inside your own race and don't want you messing with a white woman. Or don't want a white woman messing with a black man, or a white man messing with a black woman. Once they realize genetics and realize that even if he messed with the black woman, she still have dominant genes. Because she's melanated, because she's pigmented. So it ain't no such thing as a mixed baby or a biracial baby or whatever. Genetics don't split like that. It ain't no 50-50 split. The dominant genes overpowers the recessive genes and you have a black baby. That's why 2 black people can lay down and produce an albino with blue eyes, blonde hair, pale skin. It's a deformity, a deficiency. So they here, not as a human, a man that come here from the dark substance of the universe, but as mankind. A kind of man that's not man, but come from man, a weaker version of man, a man that can't live underneath the sun, that give us vitamin D, give us our strength and our energy, but give them skin cancer and all other sorts of diseases. So they run to the caves. So they make our food that we eat cause us to have impotence. They make the penis system to take away our ability to reproduce. For every man they lock up for a period of 5 or 10 years, that's 5 or 10 generations that they're killing. Because you can produce 5 or 10 kids in 10 years. Now how we come over here 60 million strong and we want to make up 13% of the United States? Somebody killing us off. Somebody keeping us at 13%. And they do that with their taxes of the eugenics movement, Planned Parenthood, ovarian cancers. Think about it. Divide and conquer. You take the man out of the household. He at home watching soap operas, washing dishes, rearing a child, because when she come home, she too tired. I've been working all day. You should take care of the child. She don't even want to be mama no more. She want to be man. And the man has become the woman. All tactics, all out of war. Role reversal. See what I'm saying? So we got to create our own market and stop letting them market stuff for us. That's one of our biggest problems. Our number 2 problem is practicing group economics. That means when we support black business, we keep the revenue that we make inside the black community as long as we can. We don't produce shit, we don't manufacture nothing. We depend on them for the toilet paper we wipe our ass with. We depend on them for the clothes we put on our back. We depend on them for their education. We depend on them to go on television on rain today. You see what I'm saying? Everything that we get from them. That's why we're not respected. You see when the Asians come over here and when the Arabs come over here, and then you said, well, they ain't got to pay no taxes. What about our Holocaust? They talking about the Jews' Holocaust. What about our Holocaust? And I want to say how imperative it is for us to study who we are as a people. Because when you divide yourself and say that I'm not an African, then they got you.
Right.
That's how you get the word Negro from the Latin word necro. Necro meaning dead. Because you don't know your roots, and the tree without roots is what? Dead. So they see you as dead people. They don't respect you because you don't know you. And when you don't know you, what you do? You emulate everybody else. So they teach you European history, you want to be more European than European. You see what I'm saying? When you become a Sunni Muslim, you want to be more Arab than Arabs. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's more important for you to learn who you are, the contribution that you have made to civilization, and how they plagiarize our stories to make his story. A white person and a black person can't eat the same because we're not built the same. Genetically, we're not the same, and our climate, environment is not the same. We're tropical beings, they are polar beings. They come from the colder climate, we come from the hot climate. The same vegetation do not grow in the cold climate as it do in the hot climate. So some of the things that they'll feed you that you had eaten that's genetically modified, that's crossbreded, or that don't go with your diet or your genetic makeup, it gives you degenerative diseases, cancer, osteoporosis, diabetes, high blood pressure. Because we don't even know how to eat.
Right.
They don't teach you that in school. Think about how long our grandparents was living because they was growing their own food. But now they want monopoly over that. They got seeds called Monsanto's where they go and plant that. When you plant your seed, it's only good for that harvest. It kills itself after one use. So you can't do like our grandparents once they planted their seeds and they reap their harvest, they can use the seeds for the next. They can't do that anymore. They put chemtrails in the air to destroy the vegetation. When I was coming up, you could walk right down the street and you could find blackberries, fig trees, pecan trees, pear trees, crawfish in the ditch, muscadines, honeysuckles. We never be hungry. How can we be hungry? Why would we have the need to be cannibals like they make us out to be in Africa? They tell you that we was cannibals. How are we going to be cannibals when nature provides us with everything for food? They the ones that are going to be cannibals because they don't have no vegetation where you're growing in the cold climate. So you're forced to eat meat. And when a freeze comes, you don't got no vegetation, you're forced to eat yourself. And that's how you get Vlad the Impaler, Dracula. Look it up. So if Europe brought their contributions to civilization, the Asians brought their contribution to civilizations, Africa brought its contribution to civilization, and worked together for the common good, we established God's kingdom right here on earth. But somebody don't want that to happen. Somebody don't want to be a minority. Somebody is trying to run the whole world. A couple of families trying to run the whole world. Mass media, the banking system, the educational system, political system. And we lose it. We last in the race. They don't respect us because we don't produce nothing. If we don't produce nothing, that means we ain't got no money to have no political influence because we don't have no economical power. And without economical power, you don't have no political influence. And without political influence, you don't have no judicial influence. And that's why we all going to jail. So them are some of the problems that we want to deal with. And that's the problem we're going to deal with. How can we become financially independent from them? How can we take our talents, our skills, and create our own jobs and start spending our money with each other? Spending our money with each other. I sell wood carving hobby craft. You sell incense and herbs. You sell t-shirts. He sells shoes. You start sewing and making all kinds of different things. And I'm buying from you. You buying from me. We taking that money and we're going to buy land that's for all of us. We can't sell this land. See what I'm saying? Now we build up on this land to get equity and everything else. Start our agriculture. So now we got food. Build our schools. Now we got institutions of learning. So we can know our story and not his story. You see what I'm saying? That's the things that we got to do if we want to liberate ourselves from our oppressors. If we want to be respected, we got to demand respect. I'm going to close like I always do with one of my spoken word poetry. I call this one here liberation. I was born a premature death. Calculate my every step. And every now and then, I go to war with self. I'm a conscious child, and I can see the atrocity that lies ahead. And what I stand for now, probably later will have me dead. But go ahead. I'm a social-minded individual. My lifestyle's critical, my conversation's political. Going down in history as a great liberator, feared by haters, trying to make things greater for later. And if I get killed in the process, fuck it, let me rest. Because I died doing what I love best. And just so long as I get my point across, it ain't no loss. I pay the price to be the boss. Government get tossed. I've been here and there, dead for a while, but I'm back again. Intellectual conversation with my Muslim friends, my Rasta friends, my Christian friends, because we all can. A life of sin sent me to the pen, but I'm back resurrected. A revolutionary mind, like Malcolm X been reflected.